acting, making these ideas happen, that's a whole other step. And many of these companies you see here, hundreds of fallen brands, also had great ideas, but they failed to action those ideas. So I'm going to tell you the tale of a farmer, and I'm going to tell you the tale of a hunter. And these two examples, they'll perplex you, they'll inspire you, and they'll get you understanding how to be more successful yourself. This is Roy on the left, and Roy sold cough syrup. And nobody likes cough syrup, although that kid's smiling a lot. But one day, Roy was at a department store, and he was looking for something to do that was different, a different business opportunity he could pursue. And pretty soon, it was getting late. He decided just to shop for his lady, his wife, who was waiting at home. And it didn't take long before he was wandering into the intimate apparel section in the department store, thinking she might like this. He felt he was being stared at like an unwelcomed intruder. "It's for my wife, I swear!" So he left, and he took that awkwardness, and he got in his car, and he drove away. But he drove away with two insights. He thought, what if there was a shop for men to buy lingerie? Or for men to buy lingerie for women. That's totally different. And he thought, what if they sold more fashionable lingerie? Well, that would make men happy. So he took his idea and he started his own little store. His store was actually reasonably successful. So he started another, and pretty soon he was repeating and optimizing his formula. He was creating a franchise. But the problem is that what he didn't realize was all along, this whole time, he was slightly wrong. You see, he was never successful because he'd made a shop that was geared towards men, although that's certainly what he thought. His success actually was different. It was because he had created this shop full of fashionable lingerie, and that hadn't been done. But it wasn't about making men happy. It was actually that lingerie makes women feel more confident. And that's subtly different, actually. And although the men in the room might not get that right away, the women understand what I mean. So pretty soon, Roy was headed for bankruptcy, because all of the department stores decided that they would add their own fashionable lingerie, and that's actually where women preferred to shop. So he sells his chain, Victoria's Secret, for about $4 million. It's a rumored number, but it's around $4 million. The new owners immediately reposition everything to be targeted towards female shoppers, to make women feel confident. They grow their $4 million investment into a $6 billion mega brand. Worded differently, Roy missed a $6 billion opportunity. Now, truthfully, Roy was actually successful. He grew a company that he sold for millions. The difference between Roy and the rest of us is that you don't have somebody that comes in to do your job and show you what you're missing. We don't have the fortune or misfortune of seeing what we're missing out on. Where we're similar to Roy is that we're all pre-wired with certain traps, the 3 traps of the farmers, I call them. Once Roy or the rest of us become successful, we can become too complacent with that success. We lose that hunger that we had when we first graduated from school or needed to figure out what to do. Roy and the rest of us become repetitive. We try and repeat our success with slight tweaks. And finally, we become very protective of our insights, especially as we become more successful. The way out of this would be to harness our hunter instincts. So I'm going to show you someone who does just that. And now Amancio is a 77-year-old male. And he works really hard. He loves to work. He wears the same blue outfit every single day. He eats lunch at the exact same place, and he was never photographed until 1999, when he had to be. Now, the extra little thing about Amancio is that he actually is worth more than all of these characters combined. He's worth more than the Queen and Oprah, because Amancio is worth $70 billion thanks to the creation of Zara. Now, you've seen Zara perhaps in the shopping malls, but what you might not realize is that Zara is not just an example within fashion. Zara is an example of the future of business. You see, Louis Vuitton would look at Zara, and their creative director says Zara is possibly the most innovative and devastating retailer in the world. And here's why. At any other store, a designer comes up for a concept, a little red dress, let's say, and in about 12 months, they can get that little red dress in the stores. At Zara, instead of taking 12 months, they design the dress, send it to Amancio, have it produced and in stores in just 14 days. The reason they can do that is everything about their organization is set up to adapt, to find, to search, and find opportunity. They create that little dress, they cut it out of a material that's called greige, because you can dye the color later, and they don't make 1 million of those dresses, they make just 5 of the dresses, which they ship to each of their 2,000 stores. They would outsource to China, but that would take too long. They would advertise, but they can't. The dress won't be in the store long enough. But actually, when you're in the store, this is where the magic happens. If you're a young woman and you see that dress and you like it, well, you better buy it today because you might not ever see it again. When a storekeeper comes up to you and they say, hey, do you like this dress? You think it's just a regular conversation, but it's not. The storekeeper will say, hey, actually, what do you like or not like about the dress? And you might say, well, I don't like that it has a stripe. At the end of each day, each storekeeper takes their notes, goes to their terminal, and writes down, dress 446, did not like the stripe. The designers who only made the dress 2 weeks ago get the feedback, they make a new dress, they remove the stripe, and 5 new dresses end up in each of the 2,000 stores just 2 weeks later. So safe to say, Zara is a very different type of company. And The Guardian, they actually did a little bit of a story on the expansion of Zara into Australia. And they noted Zara is the signifier of a stylish city. And the best part is they found a teenage girl. So if anyone here has a teenage girl, can I get a show of hands? Who here has a teenage girl or a teenager in their house? All right, so focus on what a teenage girl is like. And imagine that they find this young woman and they ask her what Zara means and what it means that it's there. She says, thank God we won't have to be a third world fashion country anymore. I'd like to find the girl and to be able to say, guess what? That's the guy that made your dress! And he wears the same blue outfit every single day. For Amancio, the daily task is marked by self-improvement and the search for new opportunity. That's his mantra, but it's also the mantra for everyone within the company. This all adds up to make a company, a person that is better and faster. And if we compare the two examples, we see that Amancio, Zara, the hunter is insatiable, curious, and actually willing to destroy. For this next part, what I really want to tell you about is some of my inspiration, which came from my father. And